Jack Black is the biggest star in the world right now, and that statement, while once unimaginable in a world dominated by sleek superheroes and brooding anti-heroes, now rings truer than ever. Jack Black, born Thomas Jacob Black, has carved out a place in the hearts of millions through his infectious energy, unique comedic timing, and a musical prowess that defies expectations. From the moment he burst onto the Hollywood scene, Black was never a conventional star. He didn't fit the chiseled mold of a leading man, nor did he seem interested in doing so. Instead, he brought with him a larger-than-life persona that thrived on authenticity, absurdity, and a refusal to play by the rules. And that might just be the secret to his success. As of now, Jack Black is not just enjoying a career resurgence, he's undergoing a full-blown global renaissance. The surge in his popularity is evident across multiple platforms. His presence on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube via his band Tenacious D, and his personal antics have won over younger audiences who weren't even born when School of Rock hit theaters. His voice acting as Po in Kung Fu Panda has solidified his place in one of the most beloved animated franchises of all time, and his most recent projects, including a scene-stealing role as Bowser in the Super Mario Bros. Movie and the upcoming Minecraft film, have only further cemented his pop-cultural dominance. But to understand why Jack Black is the biggest star in the world right now, one must look beyond his filmography and into the man himself, his story, his roots, and the unexpected depth. Behind the comedy. Born on August 28, 1969 in Santa Monica, California, Jack Black came into the world as the child of satellite engineers Thomas William Black and Judith Love Cohen. This is not just a quirky tidbit. It's central to who he is. Both of his parents were accomplished in their fields, working for NASA on significant projects, including the Hubble Space Telescope. His mother, Judith, was particularly groundbreaking. As a trailblazing female engineer during a time when few women entered STEM fields, she not only contributed significantly to science but also raised Jack with a deep appreciation for intellect and perseverance. Black has often spoken about the influence his mother had on him, recalling how she continued working on an engineering project even as she went into labor with him. That unshakable determination perhaps foreshadowed the unstoppable force Jack would become in the entertainment industry. Black's upbringing was also shaped by a unique family dynamic. His parents divorced when he was 10, and he moved to Culver City to live with his father. His upbringing wasn't easy. He has been open about battling substance issues as a teenager and dealing with the weight of grief after the death of his older brother Howard, who succumbed to AIDS in 1989. Howard's passing left a deep scar on Jack, one that shaped his empathy and emotional intelligence. These personal trials could have derailed him, but instead they infused his art with authenticity. What is perhaps most surprising and enlightening about Jack Black is his ancestry. While fans have long known him as a quintessentially American figure, his roots tell a more layered story. On his mother's side, he is of Jewish descent, and his maternal grandparents emigrated from Russia. Black has often expressed pride in his Jewish heritage, celebrating Hanukkah publicly and acknowledging the strength and resilience of his ancestors. His maternal grandfather was Morris Cohen, who worked in construction and faced immense challenges as a Jewish immigrant. These familial tales of endurance and identity seep into the passionate performances Black gives on stage and screen. They add a cultural depth that often goes unnoticed but is undeniably present in the soulful way he approaches his characters. On his father's side, the picture becomes even more intriguing. While less frequently discussed, Jack's paternal ancestry includes Scottish, German, and Northern Irish roots. It's a blend of cultures that may not be immediately obvious in his outward appearance or persona, but which echo subtly in his diverse talents and worldly curiosity. This melting pot of ancestry seems almost prophetic when considering Jack's ability to transcend boundaries, whether it's jumping from comedy to drama, from music to acting, or from indie films to blockbuster franchises. Jack's big break came in the early 2000s, but his climb started long before that. He began acting in the late 80s and early 90s with small roles in television shows and movies. But it wasn't until 2000's High Fidelity that people really took notice. In the film, Black played Barry, a loudmouthed yet charming record store employee whose love for music was only rivaled by his brutal honesty. It was a supporting role, but Black's magnetic energy threatened to eclipse the film's lead, John Cusack. Suddenly the world was asking, who is this guy? Then came School of Rock in 2003, a film that now feels like a cultural landmark. Black starred as Dewey Finn, a failed musician who becomes a substitute teacher at a prestigious prep school and transforms his class into a rock band. The film was funny, yes, but it was also heartfelt, poignant, and surprisingly inspirational. It wasn't just about kids learning chords, it was about finding your voice and embracing your weirdness. Black didn't play Dewey Finn. He was Dewey Finn. The film was a box office hit and remains a beloved classic, frequently revisited by fans and educators alike. What followed was a string of successes: Nacho Libre, Tropic Thunder, Be Kind Rewind, and the Kung Fu Panda franchise. Each performance carried the signature Jack Black blend of physical comedy, vocal prowess, and emotional sincerity. Even in King Kong, a darker departure from his usual comedic fare, Black demonstrated his ability to adapt and deepen his craft. But what's more astonishing is that he never became repetitive. Each character felt distinct, lived in, and full. Of life, outside of acting, Jack Black's musical talents cannot be overlooked. With his band Tenacious D, formed alongside friend Kyle Gass, he carved a new path as a rock performer. The band started as a cult favorite, but grew into a legitimate musical act with Grammy wins and sold-out tours. Their songs, often hilariously explicit and deeply self-aware, showcased Black's range as a performer. His vocals are powerful, his stage presence electric. In many ways, Tenacious D allowed him to blur the lines between acting and music, humor and artistry. In recent years, Jack Black's resurgence has been nothing short of remarkable. While many actors of his generation have faded into the background or settled into quieter roles, Black seems to be getting louder, bolder, and more relevant. Social media has played a large part in that. His YouTube channel, Jablinski Games, launched in 2018, started as a comedic take on gaming culture, but quickly became a window into his off-screen personality. Fans loved seeing the unfiltered, goofy, sincere Jack, a guy who danced shirtless, made silly noises, and shared moments with his sons. He didn't curate an image. He offered a genuine look at who he was. Then came his role as Bowser in 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie. Initially met with skepticism, the casting turned out to be genius. Black brought layers to the villainous turtle that few thought possible. His performance was so charismatic, so unexpected, that it became one of the film's biggest talking points. The song Peaches, sung by Bowser in the film, went viral almost instantly. Suddenly, Gen Z was obsessed with Jack Black, and memes featuring his character flooded the internet. It was as if the world had rediscovered him, only this time on a scale he'd never experienced before. And now, as 2025 unfolds, Jack Black is attached to multiple high-profile projects. The Minecraft film, long rumored and now finally in production, places him in another massive franchise. Unlike some stars who tire of franchise fare, Black brings the same joy and freshness to each project. There's no phoning it in with him. That's part of his magic. He's always present, always invested. Perhaps what sets Jack Black apart the most is that he doesn't try to be the biggest star in the world. He isn't chasing awards or status. His performances aren't about ego. They're about connection. Whether he's voicing an animated panda, teaching kids about the power of rock, or melting audiences with a power ballad as an evil turtle, Black's goal is simple: make people feel something, make them laugh, make them sing, make them remember what it's like to be unashamedly joyful. There's also a quiet wisdom to him. Beneath the boisterous persona is a man who understands loss, who values kindness, and who uses his platform to uplift rather than diminish. Jack Black has experienced life's darkness and still chooses to be a source of light for others. That duality, someone who carries deep emotional intelligence yet communicates primarily through joy, makes him such a compelling figure. His comedy never feels mean-spirited. It doesn't punch down. Instead, it carries a contagious enthusiasm, a sort of childlike wonder wrapped in layers of sophistication and experience. There's a reason fans across generations and cultures gravitate toward him. He's not trying to impress you. He's trying to connect with you. Whether it's through a ridiculous dance, a sudden burst of song, or a heartfelt moment mid-performance, Black seems to have an innate understanding of what audiences need at any given moment, and he delivers, not because he's trying to meet a quota or boost his brand, but because it's who he is. He leads with generosity. That generosity shows up in the way he collaborates with his co-stars, the spotlight he shares with younger talent, and the way he responds to fans, often with humor, warmth, and genuine curiosity. This commitment to authenticity is something few entertainers manage to sustain. The pressure of Hollywood is immense. Image control, press obligations, award campaigning, and relentless scrutiny can crush even the most resilient of spirits. Yet Jack Black seems to have avoided the pitfall of becoming a manufactured version of himself. Perhaps that's because he never let the industry define him. He always played the long game. Early in his career, when casting directors tried to peg him into limited types, sidekick, comic relief, oddball, he expanded those roles from within. He imbued them with heart and sincerity. He made them matter, and in doing so, he demanded space for a different kind of leading man, one who wins not with his looks, but with his soul. What makes Jack Black's current stardom even more extraordinary is how it defies conventional metrics. In a time when box office numbers, social media followings, and tabloid relevance are treated as currency, Black has quietly amassed a fan base that spans generations. Kids know him from Kung Fu Panda. Millennials remember him from School of Rock. Older generations appreciate his appearances on late-night shows or his earlier, more offbeat roles. And the internet? Well, the internet adores him. His TikTok dances, his gaming channel antics, his collaborations with unexpected creators, all of it paints a picture of a man completely at ease with who he is. And that's rare. He's also managed to age in the public eye with grace, humor, and humility. In an industry obsessed with youth and reinvention, Jack Black embraces getting older. He doesn't dye his graying beard, doesn't pretend to be 25. Instead, he incorporates his age into his act. He laughs about it. He owns it. And in doing so, he models something powerful, that getting older doesn't mean fading out. It can mean shining brighter, becoming even more yourself than you were before. His confidence doesn't stem from vanity, it comes from self-acceptance. And then there's his relationship with creativity. Jack Black is, at his core, a creator. Acting, singing, songwriting, writing, improvising, these aren't just jobs to him. They're expressions of a lifelong passion. When you watch him perform, there's a palpable joy that radiates from him. It's the joy of someone doing exactly what they're meant to do. That kind of passion is magnetic. It pulls you in. And because he isn't chasing perfection or awards, he's free to take risks. That's why his performances feel so fresh, so alive. He doesn't calculate his moves based on market trends. He leads with instinct, and instinct has rarely steered him wrong. That same instinct led him to form Tenacious D, a band that began as a joke and evolved into a Grammy-winning rock act. Who else could write songs that combine operatic vocals, complex guitar solos and lyrics about saving the world with the power of rock, and make it all feel meaningful? Tenacious D isn't just parody, it's a love letter to the spirit of music, to the theatricality and catharsis that only rock and roll can deliver. Through Tenacious D, Black invites audiences to laugh and rock out simultaneously, blurring the lines between satire and sincerity. And somehow, in that delicate balance, he manages to create moments of transcendence. Jack Black is also a family man. While he's very private about his personal life, what's known is enough to speak volumes. He married musician Tanya Hayden, daughter of legendary jazz bassist Charlie Hayden, in 2006. Together they have 2 sons. Black has spoken candidly about fatherhood and how it changed him. He said that becoming a dad made him more responsible, more grounded, and more focused. He often refers to his children as his biggest priority and his greatest joy. That domestic stability shows in his demeanor. He's more measured now, more centered, without losing any of the spark that made him famous in the first place. And while he doesn't make his activism a central part of his brand, Jack Black has quietly supported numerous causes over the years. From environmental initiatives to children's charities and human rights campaigns, he lends his voice where it matters. In 2016, he starred in a video for Red Nose Day that drew attention to the plight of homeless children in Uganda, and his raw, emotional response in the video revealed a deep well of compassion. This wasn't performance, it was empathy in action. He didn't do it for the press. He did it because he cared. So yes, Jack Black is the biggest star in the world right now, but it's not just because of one role, one song, or one viral video. It's because he's a beacon of authenticity in an industry that often rewards the opposite. It's because in a world addicted to filters and algorithms, Jack Black remains resolutely human. He's silly and serious, loud and soft, absurd and insightful, all at once. And rather than seeing those qualities as contradictions, he embraces them as his identity. He's proof that you don't have to change who you are to succeed, you just have to be you, unabashedly and unapologetically. That's why audiences flock to him. That's why children laugh with him. That's why adults relate to him. That's why the internet crowns him a king every time he posts a video dancing in his underwear or screaming a rock anthem from his backyard. Because he's not playing a character, he's not putting on a mask, he's being Jack Black, and that is more than enough. And maybe, just maybe, the world is finally catching up to what many of us have known all along. That Jack Black isn't just a comedian or a musician or an actor. He's an icon, a one-of-a-kind force whose ancestry of resilience and brilliance lives on in every joke, every riff, every role. He is joy in motion, sincerity and spectacle, and living proof that kindness and talent are not mutually exclusive. The biggest star in the world isn't the one with the most followers, the most awards, or the most money. It's the one who can make us feel seen, make us laugh, and remind us how good it feels to be ourselves. And right now, that person is Jack Black.